And then eventually the plan was to meet up again at round 1. So we did eventually meet up at round 1, and the story is the other half of the group that wanted originally the hot pot from Heidi Lau and then the Japanese style hot pot, they ended up getting some Vietnamese place. So the group that had escaped San Diego downtown eventually like rerouted because there was too much of a wait at every place, and they went to some random Vietnamese place that half of them said was good, half of them said was mediocre. And I was like, I'm always a Debbie Downer in those kind of things, so I try to really rein it in. Because, it's a new group of people. But I was like, I knew from the get-go. Like, as soon as I heard Hot Pot, I've done this a billion times. As soon as it happened, I was like, this is not happening. And we're also in walking distance of hundreds of great restaurants. And the life was, it was like a party. It was a city. I was like, I'd rather just walk around and just see what's up. You know what I mean? That's my vibe. I'd rather just walk around downtown and see where the night takes us. And have fun where the energy is, and eat good food in downtown San Diego, then go to a chain hot pot place. That's me. Anyways, we all got our fill. We went to round 1. Then we met up with Box and other people there. Were at round 1. I talked to Box. I asked him, how much should I get on my round 1 card? I'm not usually a round 1 person. And he said, $50 will be good. That'll be the proper amount. When I get 25, it's too little. 75 might be too much. $50 is the optimal amount to game. And I said, okay, $50 it is. So I get $50 on my round 1 card, 52 because I had to buy a card itself. And then the first thing I do is I sit down to play Street Fighter 6. I don't know, Beta Pro is happening at our local round 1 Sajam Slam. They had Street Fighter 6 arcade cabs. I had to play it. I have not played Street Fighter 6 on an arcade cab. I had to sit down and play it. And I went for it. They got video. I'm playing the Ryu player over there. So the way it worked is there's a guy playing Ryu over there, and he looked like he was playing pretty good. He has his pad plugged into a USB cable right here. So there's a USB port right here, and you can plug in your peripheral. I got my one drink that I waited 30 minutes for, by the way, and a cup of water, and I sat down to play. And the way it works is I was trying to figure it out because it's a Japanese arcade cab. They are connected via some Ethernet system, right? I guess they're Nesica cabs, right? So I was trying to figure it out. You have to play like a survival mode or arcade mode, and I beat 2 opponents on very easy, and then it started queuing me up for ranked games. So I think you have to pay or like play through arcade mode to a certain degree. Then it'll allow you to queue for the matches, and then after that part, I was playing through it, and we queued up, and we played some good games. I decided to pick JP because, for one, I have never played Ed on stick. I played JP on stick originally until Evo, and then I switched over to leverless after that because I kept having issues on my arcade sticks. But what I quickly realized is that these controls are fucking psychotic. The arcade stick I could get used to. It was really bad, but it had consistency with it, right? It was not a good arcade stick. The buttons, it would randomly activate parry and heavy punch and heavy kick when I'm not pressing anything. I'm not shitting you. I was losing my mind. I was like, what is happening? I would jump, and then I would get immediately jump heavy punch. I would just parry out of nowhere in thin air. It was phantom. I was like, what is happening? The heavy kick would never come out. And also, it runs in like a really low resolution. You can tell it's a very low resolution PC build. And it definitely had some input delay. It was not good. And so I'm playing this Ryu guy, and he's kind of solid, and he's landing every combo because he's playing on his own controller. And I'm like fighting I was like, ah! So I'm so glad I picked JP because all I did, worse than the TV? No, better than the TV. This had better input delay than the TV by far. Even on the optimal settings. But the controls made it worse. Yeah, even this might have been better. They should have ran Sajam Slam out here. But anyways, yeah, man, I'm so glad I picked JP. I was just mashing Amnesia the whole time. There was no way I would have been able to do anything without Amnesia. I was like, oh my god, save me. So I got a little hot streak going. I beat the Ryu player. I beat another guy who was like, "Oh, Brian F." Like they ended up actually knowing who I was, so that was cool that I got to play them. So people kept lining up on those caps to play. I played this Ryu player. I played another guy playing Guile, I believe, who just happened to be in the arcade. Then I played Coefficient, and then Brawl Pro eventually beat me. He beat me with his Geef. He did beat me, but he didn't have Psycho buttons. My buttons were Psycho. I think those setups were better. The stick was worse on the left one over here. The stick was worse here, but the buttons I think were insane. These buttons over here, I'm telling you, it was just like I couldn't believe what was happening. Random moves, random parries happening. Was the sun in your eyes? Yes, that too, for sure. But Brawl Pro, he cooked me. But that was fun. Then we went bowling, and we're all getting our bowling technique going. And if you guys don't know, I have a pretty solid bowling technique. Okay, so I can throw the ball really hard and really fast and really straight. The problem is the angle's a little RNG. So either it's gonna be a strike, or it's gonna be straight to the gutter. You know what I'm saying? And I have the pose. My leg goes back and all that. Like wow, you know, I'm able to lean in and all that. And so much so that one of the last times I went bowling, I ripped the crotch of my pants wide open. That was a few years ago. It was pretty hype. It was like one of the first times I hung out at night with my girlfriend and her friends, and we went. It was in Milwaukee, and it was sick. We're like a pitcher in, and you know, it's a very critical moment. You know, I did it. It ripped wide open, and I was like, I have a choice here. I can be a legend or I can be a loser. And I was like, time to be a legend. I was like, yo, I fucking ripped my pants open. And they're like, yeah, like it worked out great. It was sick. Yeah, I was like, okay, hell yes, it worked out. I was like, I gotta roll with. I can't hide this. Like, there's no. It's like you gotta believe right now. What's up, SK? I heard you're back on the Street Fighter 6 grind. You have to embrace it, so I embraced it. So the pants I was wearing were kind of tight, so I was a little worried about that repeating. It's much more well lit at Round 1 arcade. That other arcade, there's a lot more alcohol and it was a lot darker, so it's a bit different. This one there was children at, so I couldn't afford for that to happen here. But you know, my style caught Box's attention. He's like, oh, how do you do that with your leg behind you? And I was like, you know what? I don't really know. I can't really describe it without doing it, but you know, we can help you out. So I told him, I was like, okay, you got to walk forward, and when you throw the ball, you have to like use your leg to go behind you to counterbalance the weight, so you don't stumble over when you throw the ball. And then, you know, I gave him some pointers, and I was telling him to synchronize the walk up. You got to synchronize the throw. It has to all be one smooth motion to get the momentum. And this is the culmination of all that. So see here, he goes for it. He's got the hips going like mad. He's got the hips for sure, but he doesn't. He stops and then he starts putting the ball down. And you hear me saying, I was like, you got to synchronize. You can't get there, approach, and then start the throw. It has to happen in synchronization. Yeah, you hear me? You got to synchronize. And then here he gets the synchronization. He throws the leg back, and the fucking spare. Yeah, you got the spare. Look at that. He killed it. Now it still wasn't pure synchronization. He kind of threw back the leg artificially and still had to stumble, but it worked out. You know what I'm saying? He ate that up. He definitely did, SK. He definitely did. JB showed up and tried to get everyone to spin. I'm talking shit. JB, he does a spin. He has a cool spin on his. Like, he goes out and in. And I was like, ooh, let me try that. I was trying to learn his thing, and I started eating shit after that. And I was like, that's it. I'm going back to straight, like, because I know the problem with having no spin is a lot of times I'll just destroy the pins that I hit, but they don't spin out and hit any other pins. You know what I mean? So like a lot of the times I had to throw the ball so hard that they explode the pins, or else like I'll get splits. Yeah, if you don't have spin, you can really easily get splits and all that, or just cleanly leave some pins on the play. So I wanted to try his spin technique, but I was eating shit from that, so I went straight back to just throwing it straight. Gumi, on the other hand, Gumi's throw is so funny. Gumi up front there she just like throws the ball, but not only does it not spin, it doesn't rotate. My ball will rotate forward, right? It's no horizontal spin. Gumi would throw the ball so smooth, it would just glide. Like no rotation whatsoever, just and then just tank like she had the best score. I was like in the beginning, she was like leading by so much. It's like straight no rotation, no roll whatsoever, just silent glide across the lane. Just knocking all the pins over. So it was fun to see everyone's style. But after that, after round one, we chilled and went back. The only thing I used my $50 credit on was this game of Street Fighter 6. That's it. So I probably have 48 credits left on that card. So who knows when that'll happen. But then after it all wrapped up, we had these signs, and I didn't know what to do with them because SK left hers in my room. VDX, I guess Brawl Pro grabbed this one or something, got left in the room. And I had mine, and I was like, dude, I'm not gonna bring this on the airplane. It's like this wide, it's really long, about this thick. It's really big. So I left him in the room, and then Emily saw the post. She hit me up and said, no, did you leave already? I was already at the airport. I called the hotel front desk, told them that Emily was gonna pick it up, and then Emily went and saved it from the hotel room. And they preserved it. So I'm expecting to see the Brian F. Twitch rival sign like occupying a permanent billboard position in the back of Sajam stream. That's what I'm expecting. Yeah, so SK got hers. I don't know what's going to happen with mine and PDX's. I don't know. But I don't want to bring it on the airplane. Some people brought theirs back. They put it into the overhead compartments and just kind of put it on top of the bags. Some people had theirs kind of beat up and they got it through, but I wasn't going to deal with it.